Okay.
Well, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Conspiracy Keepers. Are you glad? See how I got that picture up
we
there?
had you for a second.
Yeah, for just a moment. Good afternoon to our panel, Jackie, Scooter, and Joe. It's good to finally see you guys again. We're on May 3rd, and we've got a lot of things to talk about. We actually had a show meeting today, which was kind of nice. Touch on some Elon Musk, Amazon, and Jeff building the Tower of Babel, and also Jackie brought up the Masonic Bible, and we could probably talk a half an hour just on that itself.
Yeah,
easily.
Who wants to start off? I know, Joe, you were talking about Elon Musk before.
Yeah, but man, it's really amazing about this man, how people just think he's a hero and he's on our side. But do we want to go to the Masonic Bible first? Do you guys want to do Elon Musk?
No, go ahead. Take Elon Musk. Go for it.
Okay. It's just so amazing to me how people are so easily duped. He's presenting himself like, he is going to be on our side, that, Twitter was censoring our speech. And now that he's bought it out, that he's going to make sure that, we get to say what we want to say. It's like, this is going to be owned by him. Now he's going to be able to decide what free speech is. And the whole thing about this guy, people, you have to understand, there is no billionaire out there, none, zero, no billionaires that are on our side. They got to be billionaires by being part of the enemy, part of the New World Order, part of them. That's how he got to where he is. He's doing their bidding. Okay, there is no billionaires that are on our side, and he's one of them. Oh my gosh, I just think it's so aggravating that people think that they take things at face value. This guy is not who he presents himself to be. He's not on our side. He is not going to take Twitter and make it free speech for us. What do you guys think?
No, it's been a distraction since the whole thing. The whole thing lit up, and it's the exact opposite. Anything you see that gets that much attention is the exact opposite.
Exactly.
Count on it.
Exactly.
Plus, I have somebody in my circle of friends who had worked for him, and they think he's been cloned.
Yeah, maybe. I think, that as hard as it is for some people to believe, that is actually happening out there. I'm absolutely convinced of it. Absolutely.
Well, think about it. He could be cloned, and then they neuralink his two brains. And now he has the capacity to work on all these different projects because he's linked. What do you think?
Well, he's actually said that he wants our brains computer chipped. That's what he said. So,
well, that's probably because his already is.
Yeah, very possibly. Absolutely. But how can somebody that says something like that be on our side? I don't get how people are being fooled by this guy. And this whole thing with SpaceX, with a car up in outer space. Are you kidding me? What did he say? It's fake. What did he say? It's fake because it looks so real, or it's real because it looks so fake, or something like that?
There's no car in outer space.
Yeah, there's no car up there. And he was even laughing about it.
People.
I know.
I had a college professor who died last year. Anyway, he was great. I got to see him a couple of years ago, and he would always say, people.
Yeah.
It was a way to make us change, to pay attention and change our attitude. Nope. People. Yeah. In other words, you're completely wrong.
Right. And I think that he I don't know if he's actually said this, but he presents himself as kind of like a self-made man, like a self-made millionaire, which he's not. I mean, his family owned a lot of money. I mean, they had what did they have? What did I have written down here? They had an emerald mine in South Africa. Yeah, they had an emerald mine, and he would sell them. When he was like a little kid, he would sell these emeralds. So he's always had money. He's not a self-made man. He's not on our side. He's generational Illuminati. But I don't know. What can you do?
How you doing, Backlash?
It's just, what do you mean generational Illuminati?
Well, he's had money. I mean, these people like Bill Gates and all these people, they didn't start off poor and they made themselves who they are. They've got old money. They're generational money. Their parents and their grandparents are secret societies from the past, has been passed on to them. So he's generational.
Is there a
His
way,
family has money.
forgive me for interrupting, is there a way to trace Elon Musk's money line, not necessarily a bloodline, the money line? Can it be traced to the Rothschilds or to the Rockefellers
Okay.
or to the Habsburgs?
There's no need to make the actual connection, because I can tell
Yeah.
you, if you are white and you are mining minerals in South Africa,
Yeah.
you are there to take advantage of the indigenous personnel and
Right.
to rob the country of its minerals.
Right.
Do we need to actually make a line? Isn't this common sense? Do we actually
Right.
have to draw the line on an ancestry chart?
Yeah, right. And plus, they hide their bloodlines. A lot of them, they adopt out. They hide their
That's why
bloodlines.
I deliberately separated the bloodline
Yeah, they're
from an
very difficult.
economic.
Yeah, they make it very difficult for you to trace things back to them. I mean, we didn't know who was on the Federal Reserve for a long time. We know now, but they make things very difficult for us to trace to where these things came from, and they do that intentionally. But ultimately, they're all related to each other. I mean, they're all part of the same secret societies. They're all bloodlines with each other. That's how they get to those positions that they're in.
But if it makes you feel any better, think about this. They are in these positions, but they're only floating in a more comfortable boat. Elon Musk, he is not the savior entrepreneur that you referenced, but he is merely a pawn of the larger spider. He's been given this money and given this opportunity so that he will accomplish goals for yet a higher team.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. As a matter of fact, the people that they put out there, a lot of times they use them as sacrificial lambs. They'll sacrifice them if they need to. So the people that really are in control, they don't even want you to know who they are.
No, we don't know who they are. We can't. Yeah. And we can't count their money
on TV. Yeah, that's absolutely true. So if you see them on TV time and time and time again, they're a puppet.
Mm-hmm. And this is just a distraction. I mean, isn't it true that the day that he said, "Yeah, I'm buying Twitter," then the administration said, "Yeah, we're going to come up with a nice team that's going to decide exactly what is disinformation or not, and it's going to be right through the 250,000 employee agency that they created on 9/11."
So Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas on Upchuck Todd's Meet the Press on Sunday, May 2nd, 2022, talking about the Misinformation, Disinformation Governance Board. I'm going to paraphrase because I don't want to misdirect now this and hijack this show regarding his quotes, that his team, he loves the term working. We're always working. We're working. Just stroke your fucking ego. Shut up. We wonder why I'm not allowed pets, plants, or kids.
Is there a dog outside?
It's not my dog. It's an emotional support guard dog. It's a whole nother debate. Alejandro Mayorkas on Sunday, Meet the Press, regarding this misinformation board, talking about how they're working to keep the internet safe for those who are vulnerable to misinformation or disinformation, and that this has been going on for years. They have no control. Well, that's the internet kill switch. Being able to say you can talk and you can't. And every time Senator Elizabeth Warren, Bernie Sanders, Nancy Pelosi, and even those on the right, when they talk about free speech, it's controlling your speech. And when they say this is a threat to our democracy, replace that with this is a threat to the power we have to control you.
Sure.
All Elon Musk at this point has said is he wants if Twitter is considered the public square of the internet, then you have the right over here to say this and you have the right over here to say that. And I'm not going to suppress either side right now. This is the fake left-right paradigm again, Joe, that you mentioned so often about professional wrestling. So Elon is, and I absolutely agree with you and Jackie. Backlash, I want to hear from you on this. about that in the billionaire group, that is that exclusive group. And to homage George Carlin, it's a small club and we ain't in it. So even right now, the globalists, the billionaires are all attacking Elon. Yeah, but they're still going to bring back and come back together because we are the product they wish to control. Elon is a clever misdirection of what is free speech. So we argue about the minutia of that, while the media, one side says there's nothing wrong with having a free speech governance board, and the other side just makes total fun of it. But they're still working to implement it through incrementalism, which is exactly, Joe, what inspired the conspiracy keepers to come together as an entity and to talk about what we couldn't talk about on the air, what we'd get yanked off. You're taken off for 2 weeks. Don't come back into the hour. It was a good bit. Don't ever say that again on the air. That wasn't funny. But it was true. Doesn't matter. You either toe the line or you're out of here.
Yeah.
And the creation of the conspiracy keepers, Joe, was our fear of the Patriot Act and how they were going to allegedly start suppressing our speech, wanting to chip us and track us. And for those who continued dissent, you're going to have to be removed from the system when it comes to things like FEMA camps or re-education camps or whatever you want to call them.
Can you imagine?
And yet just in this 21-year time frame, 2001 to 2022, in the time it took a baby to be born, be raised and educated and be 21 and go out and have their first drink, or 21 to, what is it? It's to buy cigarettes and alcohol now is 21. 16-year-olds and 14-year-olds can do whatever they want. That how much closer, it's no longer a conspiracy theory, it's a fact. They do want to suppress, they do want to control, and there are places around the world very close to us that are re-educating their people to go along with the system. Or because of now cancel culture, you're just going to be voted off the island and you don't go home. You just don't have a job to go to and you don't have money to feed your kids. And we wonder why there's record suicide in the United States now.
Yeah.
Even in the military.
Yeah. Yep.
Right.
Just on the USS George Washington, they buried that story. Damn it, I'm hijacking. I'm sorry. The USS George Washington in Newport News, Virginia, is being retrofitted. And last month, the military suddenly had to report 3 mysterious deaths on the USS George Washington. Investigation has now unfolded. And guess what? 7 guys have killed themselves in the last year on the George Washington, sitting in dock, getting retrofitted. What the hell's going on? Our veterans are homeless. Our veterans are killing themselves at record numbers. And now active military are killing themselves in, I mean, you want to, and Jackie, I apologize for saying committed suicide. Maybe you could educate us on that. But the reality that's, if you want to talk, the Center for Disease Control is investigating a cluster or a surge. Well, there's, okay, I'm going to arbitrarily, there's 4,000 sailors on the USS George Washington. Maybe there's 6,200. Backlash, give me the number. 7 men killing themselves in a year is something's going on.
Well, I do know, I heard an updated statistic when I was visiting Falcon Field and talking to the B-17 people. Backlash,
Yes.
I like that. Anyways, the updated number is 22 veterans per day is the average.
So it's over 20 now, but not yet 1 an hour. So it's 22 veterans a day committing suicide. And I
taking
apologize.
Their life. Yep.
So I'm not supposed to say committing suicide.
Oh, they are trying to erase that type of just so because I guess they studied it and it's incendiary. And when you talk about somebody dying by suicide, if you say so-and-so committed suicide, as you can tell, the way that that's presented, it's incendiary and it can cause an outbreak. If you didn't know if you say
that's why we never covered anybody jumping off the George Washington Bridge, because you'd have copycats.
Oh, sure. And let alone when I was in San Francisco and on the air, you never hear about the people jumping off the bridge, except they put up a net to stop people from jumping off the Golden Gate Bridge, because there can be outbreaks. And I worked with if you report that kind of a thing.
260 men on the USS George Washington.
Only 260 men on a carrier.
Well, it says they're helping relocate 260 sailors
Oh
after a
my.
rise in crew suicides.
Yeah, but what's the
Wow.
normal? Yeah, but what's the normal? Again, if it's the
2,700.
days
2,700.
2,700. Okay, because I was using the old Enterprise.
Those are really
numbers.
high statistics. Very high.
Absolutely. And that is not a cluster of a culture on the George Washington. That speaks volumes of what's going on around the world.
No, it speaks
right
volumes
here-
of what's going on the ship. They
and
could
right
have
here at
uncovered
home,
what
and-
is happening, what that ship is assigned to do. You know, and sometimes people just cannot handle what that ship is assigned to do. It's not
Well,
necessarily the news from around the world. It's like, okay, you're asking me to aim this at those people, and I think I'm not okay with it. It's unethical or
and
whatever.
what they've had to see and do, the
You bet.
evils of war. Yes,
Sure.
That's yes, because it's a cosmic of the globe, but not only
Sure, you're
significant
right.
for Americans, but absolutely what's on that ship, where that ship was deployed,
Yeah.
what the great men, I'm not minimizing, the great men and women of the United States Navy, as well as the Marine Corps pilots that use the carriers. But is it something on that ship? Is it where it was? Is it the culture of the military? Is it,
Yeah.
what is it? But statistically, again, and the media, ABC and NBC News tried to slip it under the radar. 3 mysterious deaths on board the USS George Washington are being investigated. Yeah. And the minute we looked into it, wait a minute, something's happening here.
Yeah, well, and they have to slip onto the story of there's going to be, you need to have a booster shot. I mean,
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
the prescribed delivery of whatever they need to say. And that is just, man alive, does that make me mad? It really, really is the reason I don't mind talking about these things, when you can create enemies just by speaking this way. And,
Sure.
it's wholesale brainwashing of these topics. You're not even allowed to talk about suicide numbers and stuff like that.
And
Nobody talks about it.
I would hope that in bringing that up, I did not come across as incendiary. And if I did, well, F you, because I'm not going to apologize.
No.
And I agree with Jackie in that they want to reshape the language. Well, I was raised Irish Roman Catholic. I won't bring on the rest. Just Irish Roman Catholic, in that suicide is not an option. And you can make jokes about it, but then if you talk about it too much, you're putting it in the universe. And then I get that. And yes, in the world of broadcast news, you were not to cover suicides because of copycats and implanting the idea to others
that it's okay, because it isn't. I'm sorry.
But nor do I think it's okay to say, instead of committing suicide, it was what was it, Jackie?
Losing your life to suicide or death by suicide.
Okay. I don't think that topic should ever be, like pedophilia. It shouldn't be sugar-coated.
It shouldn't, but you don't want to cause outbreaks either. But I do know metaphysically, from the perspective of understanding it, that's why it's taught that suicide is not an option, because it really, it's spiritually, they have to send you off to school. Your soul has to go to the resting place for a long time if you lose your life by suicide. You know what I mean? It's so very bad to take away the spirit inside the body. It's a very bad situation.
Jackie, hijack the hell out of this or fluff us up for the last 10 minutes.
Oh, you want me to fluff you up?
No, that's a trick question. Especially since I only lie to girls. But a couple, 3 episodes back, or maybe it's been weeks, because we had a week or 2 where we didn't tape. You were talking about the planetary alignment and the energy opening up, and what I call the universal energy of consciousness. But where are we in tune right now with that energy versus what they're wanting us to consume in the headlines?
Well, the thing is, oh man, I was talking to this when I was out of town. We could do a whole show on that, about people that I talked to and learned stuff from when I was out of town. But anyways, we're coming to the end of 3 major cycles. A major cycle, massive cycle, major cycle, and minor cycle as far as years and conjunction of planets and all that stuff. And to just simplify it for you, we're in an unprecedented time in history. And it's not just because people think, Jesus is coming back to save you or anything like that, but literally conjunctions of planets and the way that astronomy and everything that's happening. People were in an amazing time right now. We chose to be here in this time to see this. And people, other beings, souls, have come from all over the galaxies, all over, way over there, to see how we're going to handle it, to see what is going to happen to planet Earth. We have choices, we have choices to expose evil. We have choices to make conscientious decisions to improve humanity. We do. We have choices. This is the time to accelerate that. We're in bananas time. And I found out that the age of Aquarius, if I didn't tell you this, started in 2021. That's the very beginning of the age of Aquarius.
Oh, I didn't know
Remember
that.
in the 70s, they were singing the age of
yeah.
Aquarius?
Yeah.
It
That's
wasn't
right.
back then. It's now.
So Aquarius took over the Pisces age. Is that correct?
In Pisces. Yep.
Okay. All right. Yeah, because they've been promoting that for a long time.
Long
And I
time.
thought, okay, but it didn't come into fruition until 21.
Right.
Is
And
that
the oh gosh, what is wrong with my brain? But the cycle that ended in on December 21st, 2012. Remember, people thought Mayans,
The Mayan
calendar.
Yeah.
But they were just talking about an epic period involving all these other things ending and something new starting. And I think that's the minor. Anyway, I'll look at my notes for next time.
Gotcha.
From what this lady was telling me, I was writing as fast as I could. I'm like, can I start my recording application on my phone? She goes, no, just keep writing. She didn't want to be recorded, but she was telling me just some bananas things. But we're here. It's not all doom and gloom, man. They're talking about the new Earth and how that old energies are shrinking and going away. And just like the Wicked Witch of the West, shrink, I'm dying, melting. Right. And
So
Dorothy prevails. She gets on the balloon and gets to go home.
So in a way, it's kind of it's a reset, because we've had several resets, throughout human civilization. So this is kind of like another reset.
It is,
in a way. Okay.
It is. And how they're saying, talk about the 2020 whatever, the 2030
Agenda 2021 and Agenda 2030 and the Great Reset, because that was going to be my question then, Joe.
That's their that's their agenda.
Is the Great Reset now inevitable?
I don't think so. They're trying, aren't they? Hi, Elon Musk.
Right. Well, they've tried to see. A lot of times, the thing about these people, they're not gods. They want to be gods, but they're not. So their plans don't come to fruition like they want, because I believe they wanted the New World Order to be in place by the year 2000. Now, they didn't get it. That doesn't mean they're going to stop trying, but they're a little bit behind as far as what they wanted to do. So I think they wanted to be farther along than they are. So yeah, I completely agree with that. These resets, I mean, that would be a reset as far as their New World Order. That's what they want, a complete reset of humanity.
So Joe, do you think it's inevitable?
I'm not going to say it's inevitable, because I don't know if they're going to get their plans. I mean, we were talking a little bit about the Tower of Babel earlier, because humanity at that time wanted the tower to reach to God himself and wage war with God. That's what that tower was about. Now, God, the true God, wasn't going to have any part of that, so he stopped them from their plans. They never did finish.
And now Jeff Bezos has announced that Amazon's new headquarters are going to be architecturally built like the Tower of Babel.
Right.
For hell's sake.
Yeah, so they keep trying that same thing. It's the same
wish
thing.
I were
just
making that up.
There's nothing new
My
under the sun. Yeah, right. So my point is, they are probably not going to get their plans like they want it, is my opinion, because their plans are evil, and evil is not going to triumph in the long run. I don't think,
no, it
they'll
isn't.
Get their battles. Yeah.
It's not going to triumph. They'll try. Right. They'll keep trying and keep trying.
Joe, while Jackie Googles to make sure I didn't make up Jeff Bezos, Amazon headquarters, Tower of Babel, Joe, the stock market, without sharing secrets, tips, or tricks, the Federal Reserve is going to announce at some point this week, unless they've done it while we're on the air today, May 3rd, 2022, are going to raise the interest rates again another 0.5% in an attempt to stem inflation and prevent further inflation. What do you predict, if anything, is going to happen in the short term in the markets? Because the markets have been trending down already for the past several, since the last time we talked on air, taping this.
The markets are cyclical. I mean, they've always been like that. They're always going to be like that. And you have to understand that these people that control the market makers, the market is huge manipulated, big time manipulated. And the people that are manipulating it profit when it's going up, and they short the stock when it goes down. So they make money no matter what it does. Now for
Bill Gates got caught shorting Twitter stock when Elon was speculating buying. Gates is now stuck with a bunch of short positions. It's not going to matter to him, but
it doesn't matter to him.
He shorted Twitter, and the industry experts saw that and they went, "Hey, wait a minute, bad idea."
Yeah. But just goes to show you that it's manipulated, and the people behind the scenes know what's going on. Just like in 9/11, both United Airlines and American Airlines were shorted big time before 9/11 actually happened. So people that with the money knew 9/11 was going to happen, and they shorted those stocks, expecting both those stocks to crash after 9/11 because those were the jets they were going to use. So the people behind the scenes knew that, and they shorted the stock deliberately. So that tells you all you need to know. The people behind the scenes know what's going to happen.
Whoa, that is so bad. Okay,
Joe, in the short term, what do you think about the market? Yes, because way under the lazy days of summer, the stock market is typically slow and not as fluctuating.
Yeah.
Are we going to continue to see a downward trend? Do you think the Federal Reserve is smart to add another 0.5% interest rate?
Well, I think what they're going to do, what they do when they add these interest rates, they are manipulating fiat money. And you know what fiat means. It means it's not backed by anything. It's just money that's out there they keep printing. So every time they manipulate the interest rates, they're just manipulating the fiat money, which is a big pyramid scheme in the first place. So what they want to do is they want to get rid of cash altogether, and they want to go to a digital economy. So what they're doing now is they're manipulating the market to where you're having these huge ups and downs, these big swings, so they can take advantage of it going up and down. But it drives the average person crazy, because it doesn't benefit the little guy. It helps them. So the stock market always rises to some degree. But what you're going to see now is you're going to see these huge swings, big time crashes, and big time swings upward as they try to get rid of cash and they try to put in a digital economy. I think that's what you're going to see.
We got about 2 minutes left before Backlash has to get us out of here. Jackie, go ahead.
Okay, the Amazon building, it's a helix design. And it's supposed to be the new HQ. Has a helix design. So it's bigger on the bottom. It's like a cake.
Yeah, right. Like the Tower of Babel.
Well, the Tower of Babel wasn't it stacked?
It was big at the bottom and it tapered up at the top until it was destroyed. Yeah. So it sounds like it's the same type of thing that they are trying to establish again. Right.
Listen, I'm such a sweet freak that I just think of cake every time there's anything that's, stacked in a design. I'm thinking, oh, that's a pretty wedding cake. Yes, please.
And Joe,
you can find my Grandma Rosie's chocolate chip cookie recipe up on YouTube Shorts, and my nightly show at 11 p.m., 1 a.m. Eastern Time, the Scooter McGee Show on YouTube, and find me at scootermcgee.com. Jackie, where can they find you? Backlash, where they can find you, and Joe, where they can find you, and we can get out of here.
Okay, let's get out of here. You can find me on YouTube at Jackie Selby and JackieSelby.com.
And you can find what we're doing right now. These shows are all recorded, and we put them on conspiracykeepers.com. And I've linked that to my website, which is conspiracyzone.net. So you can find them in both places.
And where can they find you on YouTube, Joe? Because YouTube is its own.
Right. And Joe Monaco is on YouTube, and that's where we post all of our shows there. and on our website at Conspiracy Keepers. So you can find them both places.
Great.
And
Joe
you'll be
Monaco.
able to
Last-
find me where I'm at right now, just under my desk,
Freaking out.
doing what I used to do in second grade, duck and cover, just kind of chilling. Although next time when we come back next Tuesday, gang, I want to get a little bit more into the Tower of Babel, and we
Okay.
definitely have to talk. We're going to talk about the Masonic Bible.
Oh, great.
Yes.
And I
Okay.
also printed out the Jesuit oath.
Oh, that's
The
something.
Jesuits do not have an oath to God. They have an oath to protect themselves.
Oh, honey, I printed it out and it is sickening. It is
Oh.
freakish.
Did I just put it into the nutshell though that that's correct? The Jesuits do not give loyalty to the Catholic Church or to God, but the Jesuits give loyalty to themselves to protect the Jesuit order at any and all cost.
All I know is it's dipped in blood.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's very violent toward anybody who would ever oppose them or not think like them. Yeah.
How did I turn out the way I did raised by Jesuits? How?
Well,
That answers a lot of questions.
yeah, it would explain a lot.
Well, next
Ano
Tuesday,
Domine Padre, Filii, Spiritus Sancti.
we'll be back with more of the Conspiracy Keepers,
All right.
where we will talk a little more about the Tower of Babel and the Masonic Bible, and getting into the Jesuits, because I think they're all interrelated.
Yep, they are.
Connected.
Yep.
Thanks
All right,
again
well, that's
for
our show notes meeting then.
yeah. We're actually a week ahead.
Whoa, there's our
It'll
show notes.
work out
Okay.
well.
And
So
by the
next
way,
week's episode can be longer because we know what we're going to talk about next week.
Yes.
We got our homework.
and
all right.
Scooter is going to show up with a plate of cookies. Yay.
No.
And I would not trust getting cookies from Scooter. You'll be up for quite a while.
Listen, he has 1,500 people who are loving his recipe online right now.
Yes,
So
they are. It's only 12, but they keep hitting like over and over and over again.
nobody cares about your coverage of Ukraine, but they sure do like
No.
your cookies. huh?
World coverage of headline news every night, live, unfiltered, unscripted. The #1 podcast no one knows about and fewer people watch, but everybody and their mother is sharing my cookie recipe, and it's not
Mhm.
even mine. It's my grandma Rosie's, and it's not hers. It's the recipe off the bag of the damn chocolate chip cookie, the Nestle morsels.
Now you've blown it.
Okay.
I know. I the secret. We pulled back the curtain. All right. Be well. Be safe, everybody. Thanks, guys.
All right,
Backlash,
guys.
you rock. Joe, you rock.
Mhm.
Jackie, you
Thanks,
rock.
Joe.
More.
Thanks,
Bye, guys.